honest, I do not understand why women have this desire to just air their dirty laundry and air the skeletons in your closets for the world to see. I don't get it at all. The story is about a woman called Onyeka. She's a realtor and accountant, and she was doing really good for herself until she met this Danish prince. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Let's jump in.
Jolts you awake, what keeps you up? Stay out touch with me if you can.
Hello and welcome to Life Lessons and Confession, the channel where we figure out our power by figuring out ourselves. My name is Paola. If you like what you're listening to, or if you're interested in today's story, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, as well as the bell notification. And we are going to jump in. This channel is slowly turning into a commentary/review channel, but when I heard of this story, I was shocked. I feel like romance scamming stories are becoming the new murder mystery stories because unfortunately, there have been a lot of romance scamming out there. And it's now that women are really starting to talk about it. We know about Tinder Swindler. And of course, what took TikTok by storm, Risa Tisa. And since Risa Tisa came out, a bunch of women just have like this surge of sharing their dirty laundry. However, everyone is not a Risa Tisa. There's a reason why Risa Tisa was held the way she were, and all these other women, unfortunately, including this story, I believe, are not going to be given the same attention that Risa Tisa was given, because Risa Tisa's story was just so raw and vulnerable, and she took a lot of accountability for her action. Unfortunately, I think a lot of these women who come in, they're either here for clout or revenge, but they want to disguise it under, I want to warn women. I just want to put it out there. And I don't doubt that that's true. But let's be honest. Let's be for real, alright? I'm not proud of it. However, I have been scammed myself. It was not a romance scam though. And the reason why I was scammed was because I was desperate, alright? Same like Risa Tisa's story. Risa Tisa made sure to let us know she was in a vulnerable time in her life. She felt like her time has finally came and she was ready to embark in this new chapter of marriage, kids, and family. She was desperate to have that manifest in her life, which is fine. We all have moments of desperation, and unfortunately, that makes us targets for scams, which is why I do not like it when women come and they tell us, I am sharing this story because I want to warn the general women population about this man. Just to let us know it's because you were desperate. You were in a vulnerable time in your life. Onyeka is a realtor and an accountant. And before she met this man, she was in a time of her life where she was just working hard and she felt like she needed a break. So she decided to fly to Croatia with a friend of hers for them to just unwind and enjoy their best life. Wonderful. As she was at the beach, just soaking in the sun, just feeling at ease, photosynthesizing even, this man just walked out of the water dripping. He was tall, at least 6 foot, well built, muscular, pack. And on top of that, he had blonde hair and blue eyes. And I had to cut my sis right there. I was like, huh? I live in the US. And before moving into the US, the standard of blue eyes, blonde hair was not really something I'd heard. So after moving to the US, this is when I heard it more, but especially from white people. So in my little African girl head, I'm like, okay, so the standard for beauty for white people is blue eyes and blonde hair. And because I am an African woman, the standard at home had always been, if you're a woman, it's a coke body. You know, you have a nice shape, even if you're skinny. If you're a man, it's nice built. And of course, even more than that, it is intelligence. When I heard the blonde hair, blue eye thing, my ears just perked up because Onyeka is a Nigerian woman. I have not heard, I am not saying this is not true on an individual level, but collectively, I feel confident in saying this. Black people, whether it's African American, or even Caribbean, standard of beauty is not blonde hair, blue eyes. It is not. Even if you want to explore the colorists, It is good hair, quote unquote good hair, meaning non-cordy curly hair, or quote unquote pretty eyes, which is basically not brown eyes, which I think is ridiculous because the best eye color is brown. So when I heard that, I was like, this is a girl who has probably lived in a suburb surrounded by white folks, being told this is what is considered beautiful, and as a result, she may not feel like she is up to the standard because she is a black Nigerian woman. And if you look at Onyeka, and I'm going to put her picture here, she actually closely fits the standard in her culture. She is an attractive woman. There's nothing unattractive about this girl. However, when you are raised in a culture that does not comprehend your beauty, you're going to feel like you're unattractive. So immediately when she described this man as perfect because he looked like this, I was like, oh, so we dealing with one of those. She might be seeking white validation because those are the people she's been around. You can learn a lot about someone by learning about their childhood. That's all I'm going to say. And she just sees this man. She is smitten. And I'm like, let me look at what this man looks like. And this is his picture right here. And obviously, I adhere to African beauty standard, okay? Because I looked at this man, I was like, is that blonde hair or is that gray hair? Because the man looks old to me. Okay, I'm sorry. I am sorry. He looks old. He looks old. If I heard this man was working with her dad, I would believe it. And I'm going to put a picture of the both of them somewhere. It's like, he looks so much older compared to her. But then again, some of y'all like those silver fox people. But I was just looking at this picture. I was like, this man is old. Going back to the story, she meets this guy. She is smitten. And then she just starts yapping away. She talks about how she's a realtor. And apparently he's a marketer for a real estate company. She's like, oh my gosh, the signs are aligned. They spend the time together and they exchange Instagram information. After that date, she goes back to Dallas and she's just DMing and texting this man on Instagram. This man is liking every single one of her picture, making himself known to her, okay? He's liking every single one of her picture. He's DMing her. He's always responding to her messages. And he also alludes to, and I will say allude, he alludes to taking a trip here, taking a trip there, taking a trip to Ibiza, taking a trip all over Europe. And then he says, well, I want to go on a trip to Monaco. Would you be interested in coming? And she's like,
Oh my goodness, Monaco? The south of France? That Monaco, the richest place on earth?
and she decides to send her passport information to this man via DM. I don't understand. Excuse me? You know your identity can be stolen if you take a picture of your passport, because every passport has a number attached to it that can be linked back to you. And then she finally sends her phone number and he's so excited. This whole conversation is happening during the span of 1 week and it is all over DM. And she decides to go to Monaco with this stranger and sends a picture of her passport through DM. I was flabbergasted. This is crazy. And I just personally think she's just too easily impressed for me. So they do go to Monaco. And once they reach Monaco or they reach the Nice airport, they have this big, long 2-minute makeout session. He talks about he had an ex of 4 years, you know. She was crazy. She wanted to have kids. He doesn't want to have kids. He broke up with her 4 months ago. And now he's here. So she feels like, well, since it's not immediate, it has only been 4 months, then it's good. I don't think 4 months is enough, especially when you've been in a long-term relationship, but hey. And then he drops a bomb. He says if they were ever to get married, then she will have to meet the queen. And she's like, what? He's like, yeah, he has a title and he's a Danish prince. Okay, he didn't say Danish prince. I'm just going to add that because that's just easy. And I'm just like, girl, how gullible are you? Okay, everybody knows about the so-called Nigerian prince scam. The problem is clearly desperation, okay? Could be some white validation because she was raised in the suburbs and only surrounded by white folks. And the fact that she's too easily impressed. Like, why are you so easily impressed? Why does a man say something and you just believe it. The fact that every single thing he just kept telling her, she would take it as face value, as the gospel truth. I'm just like, have you been around men? Because they lie. I've actually been around really, really kind-hearted men. But even then, they will lie. Girl, why are you just believing anything? One piece of advice I always give young folks is, Prince Charming does not exist. And your dream girl does not exist, okay? When it's starting to look like a movie, you're being played on. Like that whole scene in the airport, she runs towards him. He runs towards her. He grabs her, lifts her up, twirls her around, and they're making out. This looks like the end credit in a romantic movie. And the thing about con artists is, I mean, hindsight is 2020, so it is easier to look at these stuff after you're out of that mind frame. Con artists are wonderful actors. I've already talked about my archetypes. The archetype of actors is the same archetype of con artists, and it is called the charmer archetype. And con artists, they'll play the perfect romantic partner for you. After they finish the romance movie, they turn to the drama movie. This happens, that happened, da. And then after it turns to a drama, then it turns to a horror where you find out the truth. They are wonderful actors, and it is the same energy as actors. Now, I'm not saying actors are con artists. Energy reads the same. Have a conversation, and he talks about how he's so close to his mom and he is protective to his mom, and this just brings her to tears, to the point where the man has to look at her and be like, hey, what's wrong? And she admits she loves him. She said she was moved by the fact that he's so close to his mom, as if criminals do not love their parents. We have got to be for real. In the moment, it's difficult for anyone to see this. It's difficult for me to see this, even though I know how that archetype of con artist and actor moves. It's difficult. Thinking someone loves his mother is not an indicator of them liking you. If you want to know if a man or woman, person, whatever, is going to do right by you, first of all, they have to respect you. That is first and foremost, okay? They actually have to respect you as a person. If a man respects you as a woman, he's going to respect your family. He's going to respect your friends, your coworkers. Heck, if you're a single mom, he's going to take on that child's son or daughter as his own because he respects you and loves you. But if he does not respect you, guess what? You're going to be the game. But it is what it is. I do admit hindsight is 2020. And the purpose of this video is not really to ish on her, even though it seems like I'm doing that. It is more so to learn ways on the things we can do better. Like not being easily impressed. Not talking too much so that someone can just mimic you, or just hearing that someone is close to their mom. That's great. It doesn't really extend to you though. Like it extends to his mom. I'm sure we've all seen mothers who are like, my son, when her son is a little terror. They decide to go to a dinner. She's drinking. She's having the time of her life. She's finally in love. And as she walks to the bathroom, she trips, she falls, she hits her head, she loses consciousness. There is blood everywhere. There's fluid everywhere. She doesn't know what's happening. And they have to rush her to the hospital. And as she's being rushed to the hospital, he gently holds her hand, looks her in the eyes, and says, I love you. And she is just on cloud 9. She cannot believe it. It is straight out of a movie. Yeah, because it's a movie. It ain't real. She is so happy. She's like, oh my gosh, he is the one. He is my forever. I have found it. La, la, la. So this is love. Girl, wake up. After that, she's happy, she's excited, but she has to go back to Dallas, and she just cannot bring herself to be apart from him for a second because they are so in love, and the universe just wants them to not be together. Mind you, this whole, from the meeting place to this time, it has only been a week. It is still week 1. We are still on week 1. So he comes to Dallas, he meets her friend, he talks about how he's been traveling here, he's traveling there, and he drops the bomb that he has been an Olympian before. He participated in an Olympic sport, and she is like, wait, you've been to the Olympics? He's like, yeah, he won a gold medal and a bronze medal. And she's like, oh my gosh, he did not tell me. He is so humble. I don't know how many Olympians y'all have met. I've never met any. If I hear someone was in the Olympics to the point he won a gold medal, is that not just an easy Google search right there? But no, she does not Google it. She just trusts this man. Every single thing that comes out of him, it is the gospel truth. It is not to be looked at. It is not to be questioned. It is just factual. At this point, I was like, oh, girl, what is happening? What's going on? Like, I would be so impressed to be like, I actually know an Olympian. Let me Google it. Especially if you won a gold medal. What? She doesn't look into it. So now that he has finished acting like the romance lead in a rom-com, it is time for him to switch gear and go into the drama department. So he drops a bomb on her. The property he wanted to invest in, there's a problem with it. She asks, what's the problem? A $50,000 problem. She's already like, if you need anything, I can help you with it. He keeps turning her down. And he says, no, I don't want your money. Then he gets a call that his father has back pain. So he flies back to Denmark. And he's talking about how his dad is in the hospital. He has terrible back pain. And now he has this problem with the money. He doesn't know when he's going to come back to that. And she's like, no, we are star-crossed lovers. The universe just keeps conspiring against us. You have to come back. Here's the money. Don't worry about it. Money is just money. I just want to be around you. So she ends up loaning him $6,000. Like a fool. When I heard this part of the story, I was actually shocked. So in theory, he didn't ask her for money. She kept pushing it because she just believed this is the one for her. This is the Prince Charming. So he takes the money, he flies back to Dallas, and the first thing they do is go ring shopping because he already figured she is a sucker, she is the lick, and she's going to be easy to get. They go ring shopping 4 months in the relationship. So that whole thing from her meeting him to now, it has been 4 months and they're already ring shopping. And as someone who's actually met couples who get engaged really, really fast, this was not a problem for me. The problem is just she's too easily impressed and she does not question anything he says. Like the Olympic thing, I feel like if I were in her situation, I will Google it just because I'm so impressed to have finally met an Olympian and I want to brag. And in doing so, she would have found out he's a liar. The Danish prince thing was already like a red flag, but I do not understand how some people, because I can't even say women, men do this also. I don't understand how some people are so trusting. This is why I feel like it is a combination of desperation, feeling like now is my time, and potentially some sort of validation, right? And it's just like, none of these signs were alarming to her. And I don't know why. Why is it not alarming to you? Or even if it's not alarming, why are you not looking more into it? Why are you just listening to whatever this guy is feeding you and you're just going along with it without doing any due diligence? They go ring shopping. He tells her about his uncle who previously died of cancer. That's why he doesn't get along with his sister. She's just mean. She's just rude. She's just like, oh my gosh, your sister is such a B word. And he now mentions that his father, who previously had back pain while he had to go back to Denmark, has now been diagnosed with leukemia and he needs to go back home. Every single time when you wake up, it is a problem after problem after problem after problem. So his father is diagnosed with leukemia and it's just so hard on him. He's dealing with so much. Plus the 50K problem, you know, she gave him 6K, but it wasn't enough. He's dealing with so much. And to take his mind off of it, he wants to go to Paris. And she's like, oh my goodness, I've never been to Paris before. He said, well, he has to move money out from his business account to his personal account. But when he does that, it has to go through the IRS. Okay, so it's not an immediate just transfer like it is here in the US. They have to go through this internal loop and he does not have the money now. And she pays for the Paris trip. Actually, when she was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go to Paris, I was like, I'm going to pause right here. Listen, it is obvious this man is diabolical. This man is a con artist. This man is an actor. He went from leading romance lead to now he's a part of a drama. He is acting his butt off. But this woman, I do not feel bad for her. So they go to Paris and they just have the time of their life. And as they need to go back home, they are so depressed. Well, she said they're so depressed. The man is probably looking at her like a lake. And then since they're so depressed, he mentions, should we start talking to immigration about how I could potentially immigrate to the U.S.? And she is just so ecstatic about it. It's like, yes, use me for a green card. She makes an appointment with an immigration officer. The officer tells her, listen, it might take 18 months, all right? However, there are 2 ways to expedite the process. One is if he has a work visa, he can just come here, work for a certain amount of time, renew his visa so he doesn't have to keep going back home. 2 is a 90-day fiance route. Guess which route she picked? The 90 days fiance route, where she's going to be legally married to this man she has met 4 months ago. So they decide to get married. And now they are legally married. I actually did contemplate talking about this. Like the process of getting married. Like the fact that in the US, you can wake up one day, be married the next. But when it comes to divorce, it takes at least a year. It's absolutely ridiculous. Why is the process of marriage so easy when divorce is so difficult and so hard? It is so easy to join finances with someone, but when you want to break away, you have to make it into a whole ordeal. Honestly, I think marriage needs to require the exact same process and exact same due diligence that divorce requires. Now he decides to drop a big bomb on her. He says his family owns $12 million in tax, and he owes $300,000 in tax. And now they're already married. And she is like, oh my gosh, what happened? You know, he's going to give her this long, drawn out, dramatic story about how their CPA was scamming them. He was doing this, he was doing that. It's always something. We're in the drama portion. And she is just ready to help her husband at this point. And honestly, her helping her husband out after they're married, I don't really see that as like that much of a red flag. I feel like spouses should help each other out. Like a husband should help his wife out. The wife should help her husband out. Y'all are now a unit together. However, I don't understand why women are ready to be Bonnie and Clyde when they're being chased down by the law. I don't get that. If this man owes money because of tax evasion or whatever, and you were already with him during that time, and maybe that tax money was used to help you in your business or help you buy frivolous Chanel bags, whatever, I can understand how you would ride and die when, you know, the law is after you. But if you didn't benefit from him not paying his taxes, why are you so willing to help? Please let me know in the comment section below where that ideology comes from, because I don't actually get it. I understand it when a woman stands behind her husband. If she was there in the beginning, when they were Bonnie and Clyde, partners in crime type stuff, and now that the law is behind them, she's gonna stand. I get that. At least she benefited from their criminal activities, so now she feels like maybe there's an honor among thieves, whatever. But when you have not benefited from criminal activities, by the way, I do not condone it, but when you have not benefited from criminal activities and you find out your partner that you just married one day ago, that you met 4 months ago, has been evading taxes for who knows how long, to the point they owe the IRS $300,000 in tax, why is your inclination to help? Because I was not here when your CPA was stealing money or when you were not doing what you were supposed to do and pocketing the money. I didn't benefit from that. Why would I be here to help you? I don't understand it. Maybe I'm selfish. Hey, if that's the case, then hey, I hope my selfishness saves me from not being in a romance scam, because I don't get this part at all. I feel like for me, this is where I'm like, well, I would have tapped out a long time ago. But here I'm like, you're still here? She stays by her man and she helps pay down, she helps give him money that he so-called need for his tax evasion activities. But she's mad about it because now, her finances are dwindling. So she's angry, she's frustrated, and then she tells her family and friends about it, but she leaves out the punchline. She tells them he has so many taxes, they don't know what happened, it's a CPA fault, but she forgets to mention, I am the one paying for the taxes. So her friends and family are thinking, oh my gosh, this is so sad. I hope he can get it together. Not thinking she is financing their lives. Because she left out the punchline. This is when I actually sat back and I was like, I understand why you two met. I get it now. Trust me. In the story, this man is nasty. This man is probably narcissistic, like she claims. He's diabolical. He's scheming. He is conniving. Is selfish, all of that. However, herself, she is very selfish and she is deceitful. She's so close to her family, yet decides to elope with someone she met 4 months ago. How close are you actually to your family? I would like to know. Because I'm close to my family, and especially my mother. I would never elope. I would never elope because I know how important it is for that woman to one day see me walk down the aisle. She had claimed she's a very reserved woman and she usually doesn't do this, yet her action contradicts it. I'm just like, so this is going to be another girl who's going to try to come to us, try to be Risa Tisa, when she's clearly not Risa Tisa. The reason why Risa Tisa worked is because Risa Tisa is self-aware. A lot of these women coming out the woodworks telling women their story because they want to so-called help women are the most unaware women I've ever met, including her, which is sad because she's a very intelligent woman, by the way. Like, very intelligent, very smart, beautiful, and well put together. I can see it. However, extremely self-unaware. Girl, be for real. She's telling her family about this whole tax thing and leaves out the good part. Of course, her family's not going to give her any advice. Her family's not going to say like, hey, wait a minute, let's look at it, because she left out the punchline. And now she's putting them in danger. Because of what? Of acceptance? I got mad and I got triggered. At this point of the story, I was like, I do not feel bad for her. I do not feel bad for her at all. Because she's exhibiting the same exact trait that he is. Maybe not on that magnitude because he is disgusting. He is a demon. She's not a demon. I'm not calling her that. However, she also has those traits of selfishness and she has those traits of deceitfulness, which is why I actually think they attracted one another. And I think this whole story is just a revenge ploy. She's angry he left her. Because listening to the whole story, he's the one who left, not her. She's angry he left her. She feels humiliated he left her. And now she's on her revenge stuff. Do not come to me, talk about kumbaya. I'm just here to help the girls. I am telling this story to warn women out there in the world about this demonic man when you are here for revenge. Stop that whole, I'm not bitter, I am better type thing. Girl, you are bitter and you want this man to go down. And I agree, he needs to go down, but you need to be honest and self-aware enough to know, hey, I'm upset. I am mad. I am frustrated. Yes, I'm frustrated at myself, but I'm also frustrated at this man and what he has done to me. And yeah, I want him to go down. If you would have came on and said this, I would have had my pitchfork and my torch and be like, let's go. I'm ready for chaos. You want vengeance? I'm here for it. But no, this whole kumbaya, this is for women in the world. Please be for real. Be for real. Don't come to me, talk about this is to help women. It's not. It's to help your ego. It's to help your ego, and that's okay. Having a healthy sense of ego is good for the soul. And if he has done so much bad stuff to you, you wanting revenge is understandable. Don't try to bamboozle me, okay? He bamboozle you, that does not mean you get to come on the internet and try to bamboozle me. I don't like it. She is deceitful, she is selfish, and I don't feel bad for her. Just like he bamboozle you, you're trying to bamboozle us. Over here, it's not gonna work. Okay? Some other women may fall for that, but over here, it's not gonna work. You need to be self-aware and you need to own up to your part in the story. And telling the story does not mean you're owning up to the story. Those are two different things. They're traveling some more. She's paying for all the travels now at this point. And he's still talking about how the IRS had to freeze his business account. I don't think the business account exists. But the way she's telling the story is like they had to freeze this business account and we just didn't know what to do. It's like, God, the account does not exist. During Christmas, they decided to go to Christmas because, again, the dad has been hospitalized, but now it's Christmas. They can meet up with the family, enjoy themselves. She attends a Christmas party. His friend is there, and the friend mentions his gambling addiction. So that night at the Christmas party, she finds out he has a gambling addiction. She confronts him about it. He says it's 10 years ago. The friend agrees that it was 10 years ago. And she just feels like she cannot trust him and she needs proof. So he takes screenshots of bank statements and sends this to her. And that the gambling addiction has been 10 years ago. He has now relapsed. So she looks at the bank statement screenshots and assesses, okay, everything is good. Before, when someone would show me like a screenshot, I wasn't thinking twice about it. But since the Risa Tisa thing, I'm like, bank statement screenshots can be altered. If you don't trust someone to the point where you feel like you have to look at their finances, I feel like the relationship is over. There's no relationship without trust. That's just for me. I'm not her. But if you feel like you need to look over your partner's bank stuff, you need to look over their phone because they're not trustworthy, bank statement screenshots can be altered. It's called Photoshop. It's called AI. Like, unless they log onto their bank in front of you, go to statement, open it, refresh that thing like 5 times, and it does not change, then that is the only time I'm going to believe a bank statement screenshot. However, if I have to do all that, I'll just wake up. I can't. It's too much work. After that little hiccup, he calls her again. He said he had a meeting with the IRS and they're going to have to put an 18-month hold on his account. You want to guess what else might take 18 months to potentially come out? His green card. But this is not cause alarm. Well, I do admit hindsight is 2020, so I'm not going to blame her too much for this. And she's just devastated. So for 18 months, she's going to have to be the sole breadwinner and take care of all the finances because she's already married to this man. So it's like, okay. So their anniversary comes up and he's just out drinking some more. And she just finds it a little bit concerning, which it is concerning when you see your partner drink so much when they usually do not drink. So she walks up to him and asks, hey, should you be drinking like that? He snaps at her. He's like, how dare you tell me what to do? Who do you think you are? Again, she's not alarmed by this. She's just like, let's just talk. I don't know what's happening. You're just drunk. I'm just like, I wish a man would. I wish someone would actually snap at me like that and I stay around and beg. Would never happen. But he says she's disrespecting him and he threatens to leave and she's just begging him to stay. I'm tired. We're going to speed run the story because I'm actually tired. So she begs him to stay. They come back to Dallas. She finds out more about gambling. They go to a Gamblers Anonymous meeting where people are talking about gambling. I don't know why she went there, but hey, she's very active. She goes to Gamblers Anonymous meeting and they try to work on his so-called gambling problem. They get news from the immigration that his green card is out. You know, it's 90 days, 90-day fiance type. His green card is out. They're excited about that. He's excited. He says he just needs to go bury his dad, come back, and now he's going to be dedicated to her 24/7. Basically, he's going to make her life hell. So his father's burial goes well. He comes back to the U.S. Now he has a green card. He cannot get a social security number. He cannot get a work visa, and he cannot work in the U.S. So they go out, they make a Chase account so he can transfer all his funds from his so-called Danish account into his Chase account. And she now asks him to, start paying her back for what she had originally loaned him when they were not married. Not even including what she has been doing for the household since they've been married. And he agrees, but he's not able to send the funds through Chase. And she's like, this is BS. I've had Chase for so many years. I know exactly how this works. And one time while he's in the house, he's upstairs, she's downstairs. She sees his Chase card there. It is 1 a.m. She decides to take the card, drive to Chase. She knows he uses a certain pin, so she puts in his pin and finds out he has 34 cents in his Chase account. She takes a picture, goes back to the house, sleeps it off, wakes up in the morning and confronts him that he only has 34 cents in his Chase account and he has been lying about the whole thing. By the time this thing came out, I was like, that's exactly what I would expect. But even during this instance, she does not leave. She's planning a wedding. Because, first they just eloped. Even though they're married, she did not tell her family about this. But now they're planning a wedding. Most African cultures have two types of wedding. There's a traditional wedding and a white wedding. So they're planning the wedding. The parents want to help. While they're planning the wedding, her mom calls her and says, hey, your fiance actually agreed to pay for both the traditional and the white wedding. And she just does not understand because they're in debt. He still has this tax thing. He doesn't have money. She doesn't understand, but she doesn't tell that to her mom. Instead, she asks her mother if they can pay a portion of the wedding and give them some time to pay them back. The mother agrees. Now it comes time to pay back. Nothing. Cricket. He's not able. It's always an excuse. This happened. The bank transfer did not go. I don't understand what's happening. Yada, yada. She catches him in a lie, on top of a lie, on top of a lie. She keeps confronting him to the point that the scammer says, I'm done. I want a divorce. She just like, I do not understand why you want a divorce. We are married. We are in this together. We can work it through. But he's like, no, I want a divorce. I'm gone. He starts packing his stuff. This woman grabs his passport and hides it. He's packing his stuff. He takes some of his stuff out that day. He texts her, I'm going to come back the next day at around 1 and I'm out. I want nothing to do with you. I want a divorce. So now she's like, okay, since he's coming at 1, I'm going to try to intercede him at 12:30. At 12:30, she comes to the house clean. All of his stuff gone. And she's freaking out. She just cannot imagine that this man is leaving her. She texted him, I have your passport. He's like, you're crazy. You can stay with it. I'm just going to talk to the consulate at the airport and I'm getting the heck away from you. She's here begging, crying, pleading for a scammer to come back into her life. And he's like, nope. I'm done and I want nothing to do with you and I want a divorce. And I guess this is when it finally hits her that this man actually means it. So she decides to finally come clean to her family that she's so-called careful and says, hey, this is what has been happening. This is what I've been dealing with. And he has a gambling problem. He borrowed money from me. He hasn't paid me back. And her little sister says, well, he borrowed money from me too. Now it clicks for her. And she's like, you are disgusting. You borrow money from my sister. I want nothing to do with it. I'm like, girl, really? This is when it clicked for you? If you would have actually told your family the truth from the beginning, they would not have been scammed. This is where I actually got mad at her. It's like, it's one thing for you to sign up for the circus. Your family and friends did not sign up for the circus. And she's calling around, calling her friends, calling her cousin. He has borrowed money from everyone. All of her people, he has borrowed money from them, claiming he wants to buy a gift for her. He wants to do this thing for her, but he's not able to because the funds in his Danish account has not transferred to his American account and it's going to take a while. And I was just like, wow. This is when I realized something, light bulb moment. I was like, if you want to scam a man, use a woman. And whether it is his wife, daughter, sister, friend, close friend, because the way this man was able to scam her extended family member lets me to believe, although she's deceitful and selfish, she's probably supported a lot of her friends. And as a result, they're like, well, you know what? He's trying to do his best for this girl, and I believe she deserves the world. So let me give you a little upfront so that you can take care of her because she's a nice girl. And I was just listening to the whole time. I was like, wow, you signed up for the circus and brought your whole family to be scammed. This has never happened to me. But if I happen to meet someone and I get scammed by proxy because I trust you and not necessarily your partner, I am never talking to you again. I am never talking to you again. What? Scamming by proxy is wild. I have never heard of a story like this before. I was shocked. To finish the story off, there was another Danish couple, and the wife, it's always a wife. If you want to scam a man, go to a woman, apparently. The wife reached out on LinkedIn. She doesn't meet a lot of other Danish people in Texas. And this man is apparently a millionaire. He has a lot of money, a lot of contacts, and he wanted to take this guy under his wings. The millionaire guy was ready to be a mentor, and he scammed the millionaire out of $30,000. So while she's doing her round of calls to figure out the amount of people he has scammed, she stumbles on this man, and this man is just showing her attitude. Why are you calling me? And she asks him, has my ex-husband scammed you? He says yes. And she's just asking this man, why didn't you tell me about it? And the man is just conflicted. He's like, girl, you're Nigerian. Nigerians are scammers. And I'm not gonna lie, when I heard this, I laughed. I laughed. I love it when discrimination comes around and bites you in the butt. Love it. The only people I feel bad in this story are her family members and her friends who were scammed by proxy. Those people were actually nice and loving, and they did not sign up for the circus. However, Onyeka and the billionaire, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for them. Y'all got scammed because of your own perception of what you thought was good. She did no due diligence on this man. This man is telling you he's an Olympian. You believe it. He's a prince. You believe it. He has this. He has that. You believe it. You don't question nothing. And the millionaire himself, he just sees a random Danish guy. It's like, okay, I'm going to take this man on and mentor him and show him around my people. Why? Because he's white and he's Danish. And you end up being scammed because of your own discriminatory practices. My empathy extends only to her friends and family, not her, not the millionaire. I was actually laughing. I wish the Danish prince would actually scam him more. I said it. That is it for the story. This was a whirlwind. I tried to truncate it because this is a 4-hour series and I'm not going to subject y'all to all that. But yeah, more of the story, because this is not actually about her. I think a lot of women do get threatened by romance scam, and it is something that has become much more prevalent than I thought it was. It's kind of like true crimes, but without the crime, hopefully. Times are tough. This world is hard. Don't steal people's money. Okay, like I said before, I have been scammed. Unfortunately, my scammer was Indian. Does that mean all Indian people are scammers? No, that's ridiculous. Just like all Nigerian people are not scammers. I've actually met more hardworking Nigerians than scamming Nigerians. But hey, you got scammed because of your discriminatory practices. Ha ha ha. I don't feel bad for you. Anyways, so more of the story is just, when you're in a desperate, vulnerable situation, just take it slow. Because I've actually seen or heard of people who did get married 3 months after meeting. And they're still together and it's great. But those are successful when you're not desperate. Those are successful when you're confident in yourself. And yes, you're going to have moments of desperation. We all do. We're humans. It's a thing. But in those moments, you need to be aware enough that you are in a fragile state and that you need to take it slow. That is my life lesson for this Danish prince romance scamming situation. And please let me know what you thought of the story. Please let me know if you actually watched the entire story on TikTok. And just let me know what you think in the comment section below.